Okay, everybody, 10 Tampa Bay Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins here. Good Sunday evening, just about 8:30, and this is the very latest that we're looking at with Tropical Storm Ian. It is actually starting to strengthen now. The 8 o'clock numbers came out and it's showing at 60 miles per hour winds. This thing's been hovering at 45 for the last 20, well, has it been 24 hours, Tyler? It's been a while. It's been hanging out there. But now it's starting to strengthen. We expected this, and in fact, the strengthening will gradually continue. And really, through the day tomorrow, this thing should rapidly intensify to a Cat 3 hurricane by tomorrow night into Tuesday. So this thing is now turning to the northwest at 12 miles per hour. It's been moving west-northwest. It's now, as you can see, moving to the northwest. And the pressure is down. It's down to 991 millibars. All right, so let's take a look at the forecast track. This is the very latest from the Hurricane Center. Now this track, yes, we had an 8 p.m. update, but the track is from 5 p.m. They'll give us another track update at 11 p.m. And you can see that we've got 80 mile per hour winds by tomorrow afternoon, 105 Cat 2 tomorrow night into Tuesday morning. Then Tuesday afternoon, we're looking at 120 mile per hour winds. That would be a Cat 3, making it a major hurricane. Then here we go. This latest track has shifted to the east. You kind of had the line that was like this. It was a little bit more like this a little bit earlier. So that has shifted to the east. Obviously, here we are in the Tampa area. So this is getting closer to us. Now, some good things here. It is going to be strong down here, right? 130 mile per hour winds. But by Wednesday afternoon, as it's getting closer, it weakens a little bit. A little bit of shear, a little bit of dry air. Not a whole lot, but a little bit of dry air moving in there. And then you can see it's weakening again as we get into Thursday as it's moving by. If this forecast holds, okay, this is the track from the Hurricane Center. But I have to say, a lot of the models are a lot closer to us than that. And in fact, some of them are right over top of us. So that's the timing. And I'll get into the timing just a little bit more here in a minute. There is a look at the ocean heat content, right? This is the warm water over the Western Caribbean. And not only is it warm at the top, but it's warm all the way, not all the way, but quite a ways down. So when that storm's developing, it's getting stronger. It's using that warm water for energy. And as the winds blow that top water away, there's still plenty of warm water to come up to fill that. And that means it's still heat that storm can use, fuel for the hurricane. So that is why we expect this thing to continue. And by the way, while we're looking at this, look at how good agreement we have here with the forecast models. Now, here's a closer look as it moves to the north. The UK Met, right, it's been doing this the whole time. The European is right over here with it. The GFS has been way over here. It's now starting to come back as well, too. So here are the GFS ensembles. Yes, there's still a good spread. You can see some out here, but the consensus is right down in there. And there's still plenty of models that are to the east. And they're starting to slow it down a little bit as it gets closer to us and then drift off to the north. Which, if that were the case, then whatever we get, how close it is to us, whatever weather we get from it, we would get longer. We'd get more of it because the forward speed would slow down. Now look at the European model. Tampa's right there. The European model actually has more of them coming in the southwest Florida, down towards Fort Myers, towards Sarasota almost, south of Sarasota. So we've got forecast models out here. We got them way over here. And the Hurricane Center is still saying that the, look at this, model did it again. This graphic. So these X's are where the yellow is the Euro, the white is the GFS. And in fact, the GFS is closer. Instead of being right here, it's pretty daggone close to where the European is. All right. So, and that's Thursday morning at 3 in the morning. So Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday night, and Thursday. This is Thursday. Well, let me stop it here. That's Thursday afternoon. This thing's right over top of us. Let's get up to sunrise. Thursday morning, right over top of us, moving through, or right beside us, depending on which model comes out. This is sunset on Thursday. It's still in the area. That's a solid 12 hours. And then Thursday night into Friday, things are getting better. That's 5 a.m. Friday morning. So certainly Wednesday through Thursday night is the time frame that we're looking at here. Forecast winds. Now, this is a product from the Hurricane Center, and there will be hurricane force winds. I know that red went away in here. You shouldn't see the red. There will certainly be hurricane force winds out here. It's part of the way that they issue it. But I wanted to show you this because the yellow here is their expectation of the onset of tropical storm force winds. And this is 7 o'clock Wednesday morning. So between those times, between 7 and noon, those tropical storm force winds will move across the Tampa Bay area. All right, so it'll be Sarasota County first, Manatee, then up to Pinellas and Hillsborough, then Pasco, obviously, to work its way up to the north. All right, now, this is the probability map that they issue, and let me zoom in here on this because this has shifted to the east as well, too. Our probability is now up to 60%. The heaviest winds are still offshore. I think this might even come a little bit further to the east, so we'll have to watch that. But you can see this line, this black line here is showing 8 a.m. Wednesday. That's the most likely arrival time for those winds. And then you can see if you're watching from northern Pasco, it would be later in the afternoon, early evening hours. Citrus County, Hernando would be Wednesday evening that the tropical storm force winds would arrive. Okay, slow moving system as it moves by. In fact, if you look, let me take this back. Let's see if I can come back a little bit more. Notice the distance between where it says Havana, that's Tuesday morning at 8 o'clock, to Tuesday evening. You see that 12-hour period? Look at that. You see how that 12-hour period is that far apart? Look at the 12-hour period from Tuesday to Wednesday. And then look at the 12-hour period from Wednesday morning to Wednesday evening. And Wednesday evening into Thursday morning. You see how it's slowing down? That's just the leading edge of the storm. So the closer these lines get, the slower that storm is starting to move, and just so happens to be moving right past us at that point. That's the forecast right now. That might actually change, so it's something to watch, but that's what the models are trending to as well too. So here's what we're looking about for threats, okay? The greatest threat is likely Wednesday afternoon through Thursday evening. The wind obviously will be picking up through the day on Wednesday. The highest winds I think will be overnight, Wednesday night into Thursday morning, and at least through the first half of Thursday. Okay, rainfall and flooding issues from rainfall. That would be as the core really starts to get here. So that would be Wednesday night, Thursday morning, Thursday afternoon as well too. Tornado threat will actually get here a little bit sooner. That could be as early as Wednesday morning. We have to watch a couple cells Tuesday, but certainly Wednesday morning through Wednesday night into early Thursday morning. We could probably cut that off pretty quickly on the backside here for the tornado for Thursday midday on, because it's all in the northeast quadrant, and that will really be coming through Wednesday night into Thursday morning. Now, storm surge. Storm surge will start to build. This one will have to adjust a little bit because the surge will be building gradually, and I think as the day wears on Thursday, you're going to notice the tide's just getting higher and higher and higher. The likely best time that we would see storm surge all depends on where the center goes. Okay, because storm surge, you need southwest winds blowing the water towards the coast. If that center is further offshore, we won't get as much wind. We'll still get the southwest wind, so we'll get some surge, but we won't get as much. If it's really close to land, we've got the higher winds closer to land. Initially, it's going to blow water out. All right, and people are going to be like, where's all this storm surge you were talking about? If it does come right up the coast, right on the coastline, it will initially blow water out. But then on the backside, it will blow water up quickly. And so the storm surge threat is going to depend a whole lot on when that center comes through. All right, so that's where we're at with it at this time. You should be you should be finishing up your preps now, right? That definitely want to be finishing those things up right now. You've got through tomorrow. Tomorrow's a relatively quiet day. We've got some afternoon showers. You got most of Tuesday. Right, I think would be okay at that point as well too. But I'm telling people to have everything done by early afternoon on Tuesday, certainly by Tuesday sunset. Okay, because the weather will go downhill overnight Tuesday night. It's not terrible. It's not going to be terrible Tuesday night. You can still get some things done, but it's just easier to do things in daylight because tropical storm force winds could start right around sunrise on Wednesday morning. Okay, let's talk some questions here. Chris, hey, what's up, Chris? He says, looks like the GFS is now going more towards the west coast of Florida like the Euro. Am I correct? Yes, you are correct. In fact, you know what? Glad you brought it up. Let's go and take a look at some of the models here. Yeah, there we go. So, in fact, let me make it big for you. Wrong button. This is the, and I just put the winds on here because the pressure is the same, basically the same difference. That is the GFS model. Now look, 106 mile per hour winds is what it's saying. That would be around the eye wall out here. This is the latest run, and it brings it much, much closer than what it was before. Here's the run before, and here's the run 2 runs before that. So look what it's done. It went this way, and then the very latest it just came out went just like that. All right. Now it's not showing terrible winds for us. It keeps most of the high wind. Look, the high wind's gonna be right around that center, right in this northeast on the eastern side, right there. That's where the highest winds are gonna be, right? So we'd be getting really brushed by it. But it's not terrible, but it would, you know, keeping the highest winds offshore is the best thing. This does eventually take it to the north, wobbling up towards the Big Bend. All right, this is the European. Now the European doesn't have as strong of a storm, but that's almost 90 mile per hour winds right now, and then that would be actually be moving into Sarasota and Manatee County, and this would be sunset Wednesday. So this is a lot quicker solution. So weather is really going to go downhill Wednesday. And then look, let's go out to sunrise on Thursday for the European, and Pinellas County is in the eye if this were to hold, right? Remember, the GFS is at that same time, it's right there. The European's there. GFS, European. Let me back this up to the same time. There you go. That's the GFS at 12Z, which is sunrise on Thursday. This is the European sunrise on Thursday. See the difference? So this case scenario, you've got the very high winds on the bottom side of the storm blowing the surge in. But look at this. When you go back to Wednesday, that's east to southeast winds over Manatee and Sarasota. You got northeast winds over Pinellas and Hillsborough and Pasco. And easterly components blowing water out, right? So you're going to get a negative surge. You're going to get that water to blow out. That would be Wednesday afternoon and evening. But then as it comes northward, sunrise Thursday, then our surge issue happens during the day on Thursday. And the timing is not going to be too different, I think, from the GFS model, but that's where we're thinking at this particular time. Thanks, Chris. I'm glad you asked that question, buddy. Am I correct that it may stall as it hits in Tampa? It may slow. I don't think that it stalls, but I do think it slows, and that's what I was showing you in those most likely arrival forecast of the winds. It was going to arrive here, then it jumped here, and then it was jump here, and jump here, and jump here. You could see it slow down if you look at that graphic. Isn't the Euro the one that's usually most accurate? The Euro does pretty good. Yeah, it usually does pretty good, but not all the time. I mean, Fiona, we just had Fiona off the East Coast, and the GFS handled that much better. Orlando is not terrible. I mean, the further you get away from the coast, the better this is going, the better weather you're going to get. Because all the models, for the most part, drag it right up along the coast and not much into the coast. The European does, and the UK Met does try to cross it a little bit. But even by that time, the time it gets to Orlando, those highest winds would have come down just a little bit. And yes, it will certainly affect Orlando. So guys, this storm is probably, what do we got, 60 miles out from the center, tropical storm force winds, something like that. So that means if you took this storm right here and you stuck it over Pinellas County right now, you go 60 miles to the east and you're almost to Orlando, right? This is going to be much bigger. Most of the state, the peninsula, from Fort Myers due north to Orlando is going to get tropical storm force winds, which is 40 mile per hour winds or higher, right? Hurricanes are big, right? 200, 300 miles wide. The state's 120 miles wide. So it depends on where that track goes, right? You're going to get the half of that 200 mile wide. You're going to get 100 miles of it. So if you went to Daytona, things would be better over there. Yeah, certainly on the East Coast. You have to watch. I mean, it may go further to the northeast and they'd get a little bit more weather, but either way, Tampa's going to get it worse if this forecast track holds. What are the key things to look for with the troughs effect on Ian? Good question, Chris. Man, you're doing it. You got the good one. So let me bring this up here, and I'll show you the water vapor with this. let's put this into motion. So here's our storm. All right, storm's right there. See this big dip right here? That's the trough that is trying to pull this up and out. All right, we had a very similar setup when Fiona went up and out. Okay, we had this trough over here, but it was digging down just like that. So what happens is these things dig down, these troughs dig, and then one model says it's that deep, and then another model like the European says it's this deep, and so the European says, oh yeah, it can get there. The GFS says, I don't know if it's going to get there, I'll take it up here. Right, and that's what's been happening. But now the GFS is kind of saying, yeah, I think it can get there. And this is a little bit deeper here. So you see all this coming across Western Canada right now and diving down. That's the trough. So you may have seen many of your friends talking about some cooler air where they are, and that's the reason why for that. So let me go back here to the track, answer some more questions. What about Highlands County? Natalie, everybody's got a, so this is 3, 4, and 5 days out. I'm not going to be able to say Highlands County is this, Pinellas is that, Pasco's that. We don't know at this time. Just don't know. Closer you are to the coast, the more you're going to get. Likely, I can say that if it takes a track like this, that you're going to get more surge on the, obviously, the Gulf Coast side of Hernando County. That's where the only place you would get it, but you're definitely going to get more surge at that place. Oh, sorry guys, I hit the wrong button here. Let me see it so you can see this there. There you go. Is it a chance that it gets stronger than projected? Rod, there's a small chance that that happens. I don't think it's a big chance, but intensity forecasting is not the best, so it's something that we got to watch. I'm intrigued that this thing does weaken a little bit. That's great news, because you know, if it takes that track, the 100-mile-per-hour winds would be off out over the Gulf, not over land, and that's okay. I mean, it's not pretty, but it's not terrible. But that would, I think this track's coming to the east just a little bit. And the uncertainty that we have here, which we normally have anyways, right? But it's a little bit higher in the day 4 and 5, and that uncertainty is the reason why we have to have evacuations, because it's not like we have a weak system potentially coming at us. We have pretty much a strong storm that's forecast to be coming our way. How can you tell which direction? Well, we're looking at the models, but if you saw, Jessica, where I just showed the trough and that kind of thing, we know that's how that works. We know that lower pressures will try and get into that trough and lift up and take off, and so that's kind of what's going on with that. Okay, let's see. Is Daytona going to get anything? They're going to get a little bit of rain, some outer rain bands from it. A little bit of a breeze coming on shore for sure, but not terrible, doesn't look like. I don't think they get much out of it. Be careful leaving because gas is running out. Don't want people sitting on the highway and no gas. Absolutely. Mary, you're absolutely welcome. Very welcome. Glad you guys are able here to log on and check it out tonight. We hope everybody stays safe. I mean, look, we're all here in the Weather Center. I got Natalie, got Tyler. Maybe Natalie's just about done. Grant and Rich are in early in the morning. So many people behind the scenes. Anchors, producers, managers. All we've been doing is just planning, so that we can be able to give you guys lots of information and trying to update you every time we get an update from the Hurricane Center, that type of stuff. And you know, old timers like me, you know, now we got the internet, we can do all this broadcasting on Facebook Live, on YouTube. So don't forget my YouTube page, which is Bobby Deskins Weather. Go ahead and like and subscribe to that, and I can do plenty of updates on that as well too. But it's just, the best part about this is that I can read your questions and answer your questions, you know, and versus the TV, you can't really do that, obviously. Shouldn't people be leaving now? No, Martha, not quite. I think what's going to happen is tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., I know Pinellas County is going to have a news conference, and I expect that they will announce evacuations at that time. Hillsborough, the same. They have canceled school in Hillsborough Monday through Thursday. And the reason why they've done that early is because they plan on using some of those schools as shelters, and so they need to prep those schools, those shelters, early tomorrow, and then start the special needs evacuations for people that are right near the water, people that are in those low-lying areas, a level A evacuation zone. So please know your zone, especially if you live near the beaches or by the bay. You need to know your zone. If you live right by the beach or the bay, you're probably in a level A. Okay, and that will come out tomorrow morning. And of course, if you have the 10 Tampa Bay app, you'll get a notification just ding in your phone saying, all right, here it is. You'll push on it and it'll give you all the information you need to know and links to different things there. There's a 3 going to hit Sarasota. It's possible, Michelle. It's possible. It's looking a little less likely at this point, but it is possible, and that's something that we have to watch. What about Polk County? Good question. Haven't talked a lot about Polk. Polk's inland, so you're going to get less than whatever Tampa's going to get. And right now, I can't say Tampa's going to get 70, 80 mile per hour winds. We just don't know yet because we got to get the track a little bit more, and we got to get the storm a little bit more organized and turning to the north. That will help us know, okay, now we have more confidence in not only where it's going to go, but what it's going to look like, a little bit better confidence in that. And then we can start saying, here's how much wind we expect, so here's how much surge. They're running some early surge models. There are parts of the northern part of Tampa Bay that could have 3-4 feet above ground of water, especially in the Oldsmar area. So that is something that we really need to watch. When they evacuate, they are evacuating because of storm surge, right? If they say level A evacuation, that means that you could get the Gulf of Mexico or the Tampa Bay waters in and up on the ground near your house. They also do evacuations for special needs and for things like if you live in a trailer home, you cannot stay in a trailer home during a hurricane. You don't want to do that, okay? And so that's all part of your hurricane plan. You should know now what your plan is. If they tell you to evacuate tomorrow, you should know where you're going, right? You should know that June 1st. That's part of making a hurricane plan. Citrus County. So Citrus County would get less wind than what Tampa's going to get, but you're going to get much more surge. The models I've seen so far put the storm surge over US 19, which I know is not saying much up there, but it could be a lot. If it takes that track right there, it could be a lot. So we'll have to see. Okay, guys, I'm going to go ahead and hop off of here. Thank you very much for jumping in on here. Don't forget all of our 10 Tampa Bay platforms. Again, download the app. It's free. I'm not selling it. I just think it's a great way for you to stay informed and get prepared and just stay connected with us through this whole thing, right? We're going to be here. If the power goes out, you can watch us on that app, okay? You can watch us right there, and we'll even be doing some lives, and we'll be able to get some of your comments as well, too. So that will really help us talk back to you out there. Okay, guys, that's it. Jamaica, prayed for hard storm that's postponed. I'm worried about the Florida. Yeah, Jada, thank you for looking out for us. And we're glad, Jada, in Jamaica that it's going to be a little bit further to the south of you and it's not too strong. So hopefully the rains aren't too bad there for you. Chris, yeah, great questions, buddy. Good to hear from you. Good night, everybody. Have a good night. Stay safe. We'll see you here in the morning. You'll see me on TV at about, Tyler will be on at 9, a little after 9. 10 and 15 minutes after 9. I'll be on about 10:15, and then we have the 11 o'clock show. I'll see you then tonight on 10 Tampa Bay.